Hi, my name is Crystal Francis, and this video is for Texas government. I just watched the videos that were associated with the book The Big Sword by Mr. Bill Bishop. Um, from the videos, I gather that the book is talking about how people in the United States tend to divide based on political beliefs and how it has an effect on our community. From originally reading um, the the, um, the summary of the book and also listening to the videos, I was thinking, why did he just call it the Big Divide? But I guess the Big Sword is a more of a clever way to name it, because I kind of compared it to, in a sense, like sorting laundry in a way. We tend to separate it by color, texture, um, carrying directions. For laundry, you can do that because if you mix them together, the results won't be very desirable. But as far as people, um, it is good for us to not sort each other based on our beliefs because, in a way, well, in many ways, we can help each other based on our differences and how someone having a view that you don't agree on or don't quite understand won't be as um it won't be as trying to find the correct word, uh offensive to others, because I know politics is a huge thing. This country has um they have made attempts to make everything acceptable, um, concerning race, sexuality, basically everything, body weight, anything that makes us different than what is considered the norm. But when it comes to politics, it's like that is something that we still tend to have a divide on, and the whole tolerance is not there as much as it would be for other topics within our country. Um, Mr. Bishop was, giving examples and showing slides on one of his videos on how you can tell, um, how well which communities belong to either Republicans or Democratic based on the way the neighborhood looks. They said Republicans tend to have larger homes with more space. Democrats tend to have smaller homes with less space. Um, Even as far as what is in their yard and how the yard looks, um, seems to be it should they're able to depict which one is the other. Um, and then uh, he was saying how um, you know even within a community, like the church would be centered around the political views um, of the people within that neighborhood. So in a way, the kids in that neighborhood, the adults made the choice. But the children growing up in the neighborhood, they kind of fit in their own little bubble. Okay, well, mommy and daddy are Republican or Democratic, and that's what I am. And mom and daddy believe this way, and this is how I'm going to believe. And it kind of, in a way, um, is like a setup, like not particularly a good setup for when they become adults, because they had a young lady said that when I believe when she went to college and she was used to being around like-minded people like herself, and when her views were challenged, it was a bit of an issue for her. Like she wanted to prove to them that she was right, other than I found it interesting. She said, I want to prove to them that I'm right. You know, you should prove to them why you believe that way, not why you're right per se. Who's to say what is right? And that is a result of growing up in a neighborhood in an area where everyone thinks the same. If we all, kind of mingle with people of different political views more so, we wouldn't have these issues. That's why we're still, going to war now. People are still having these protests because everyone thinks the way that they think is better than the next person. And what Mr. Bishop was saying, if we get everyone to basically, you know, mix and interact with each other, there won't really be such a big sword, like he said, or a big divide in our political views. Everyone will be more understanding and more accepting of the next person's political views. And we kind of should all learn from each other than trying to, you know, make everything about a big debate, especially when it comes to politics. And I completely agree. Um, Growing up, I grew up, um, my whole family basically is Democratic. And if they even, from the way they speak, if they even have any kind of, they suspect you're Republican, it's like, oh my God, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to be a Republican. In my case, primarily, because of my race and my background as far as my family, like income. Basically, my whole family is middle class people, and they believe since you're middle class and you're a minority, you're supposed to be Democratic. Like, there's no way around it. Like, you're not supposed to do that at all. And growing up, I was just like, okay, I'm Democratic. I didn't even know what it was. And I remember my first time I was able to vote was during the Obama election. Um, his very first term. That was like my first time ever, able to vote. And I was like, okay, I'm Democrat. I'm gonna vote for Obama. I was gonna vote for Obama regardless. I liked um, the way he explained things. I liked what he stood for. I was more so looking at him as a person and not the party he was running for. And I remember taking a test on a legitimate website. It wasn't like a pop up or anything. Saying, "Are you Democratic? Are you Republican?" It seemed like it was kind of catered to first time voters like myself at that time. And I remember I took the test and it said that, my beliefs fit more so with the Republican. Like, I was like 60% Republican, 40% Democrat. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what sees this because it's like that fear is there. Like, oh my God, if anyone knew this close to me that I can possibly agree with Republicans, it's like, oh my goodness, that's not supposed to happen. So I heard from some tests again, and got the same result. But now, as far as my own personal political beliefs, I look more so at the person and I actually look at what will benefit me and my community more, and it does fall more democratic. But I liked how Mr. Bishop said that in some African countries, you can't marry within their tribe. It's against the law. They have to marry outside um, to marry because they said that you don't go to war with your in-laws. They are our enemies. You must marry them. In a way, it's good. So it's like you guys can learn each other. It's like learning more of what the your enemy, not exactly your enemy, but someone who thinks the opposite of you, how they think, so you can be more aware of it and not as afraid. I think a lot of it also is fear. Um, Me myself personally, people always say That's one thing you don't discuss is religion, politics. I've kept that. I don't really discuss these things because it causes such a divide among people. It's like it's it's never a conversation where there are any sort of compromise. Either it's black or white, Democratic or Republican, you know. And if you're Republican, people look at you a certain way, and if you're Democrat, people look at you a certain way. Even more so, social media shows how ugly these these conversations can get among people of different political views. And I agree with Mr. I feel like everyone should just kind of think around each other. He was saying how some people kind of look around the neighborhood to make sure everyone's like themselves, like it's a comfort zone. Being outside of your comfort zone is a huge learning experience. I had the privilege to live overseas. I lived in Africa for on and off for 5 years. I learned so much. I never feared country or continent like people did. I was more so curious. And I got to feel that curiosity. I went in with an open mind. Um, and sometimes when we fear things or we assume things about certain situations, when we really get into them, we'll see, that it's not really as bad as what we think it is. Like, hey, these people have more in common with me than I thought they did at first. You know, they may talk a little different from me. They may eat a little different from me. I may actually like it. And um and you could look at it the same with different political parties. If we got to know each other and sat down and had, you know, respectful debates and conversations and encourage our children to, you know, well, the new generation of children to uh, actually communicate and socialize with different, we'll have less of a intolerance in our country. There will be less issues in our country. Um, and what Mr. Bishop said, a lot of the stuff he said, it was so true. And he was saying how, uh, based on where he lived, it was a certain way, because because of the political party that was primary in his neighborhood. Versus when you go further up, it's different there. Um, I just really enjoyed really watching, um, you know, his, him speaking about his book and explaining the book, and I like the questions people had, but I'm more so like that he brought up an issue in our country. I feel needs to be resolved. I feel like everyone needs to, when it comes to politics, like everyone can come together about everything except for politics, especially now with our new president. It's just been I would say it hasn't been the most ideal experience being in this country right now. I think it's mostly uh, a lot of people don't understand what the other party is thinking and not wanting to understand, just upset with what is going on, and oh, it's you guys' fault. It's you guys' fault. Um, but if they really knew, and really took the time to understand, we wouldn't have all the issues that we have. So yeah, I really agree with what he's saying. And hopefully, um, you know, people will tend to become, because like time, with time, yeah, progress, things become progressive. We've had, a lot of progression in this country. Hopefully, political views, people not there not being such a big divide, things will be a lot better and a lot smoother in this country. So, thank you, Mr. Bishop, for your book. And these are my thoughts um, on the review of The Big Sort by Mr. Bishop, and I really hope that you enjoyed listening to my comments and my take from the video. And thank you for listening and watching.